Hi, everybody. Happy 2022. Over your New Year's back in the new year. I know it's been since last year since I've seen everyone. And we're back with special guest Gabby. Gabby, thanks for joining again. Your lipstick looks
Hello.
fantastic.
Thank you. Happy New Year, everyone. I'm excited to be back.
I'm jealous that you were showing up with the full face, and I'm just like,
I tried. I tried.
just crawling,
You
grumbling,
look
crawling
beautiful,
out.
Maddie.
Thank you.
Stop. You're welcome.
I know you're just saying that because I have this
No, you
sweet baby Yoda
do.
rug behind me.
That too.
It's from
You both
Target.
look beautiful.
I saw it at Kristen's house, and then I bought one too.
That is really cute.
Yeah, Happy New Year's, everybody. Hello. You never read Jennifer Blood? No. Although you said that, I thought about Jennifer's body, so I don't know what that says about
Yeah,
me.
me too.
Hi, James. So yeah, hello, everybody. Dripped up as usual. Jaden, thank you. I feel like there needs to be an expiration date for Happy New Year. Yeah, after this first show, I won't say it again.
I feel like the first month's okay.
Yeah.
But I think, yeah,
Well, we have Lunar New Year too.
true.
I don't know about I know probably Amazing Asian, but like for me and my line of work, my mind is on Lunar New Year until like mid-February. And that's all we're doing right now is planning our week-long Lunar New Year like festivities. That's all of my work right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, hello everyone. So today we're talking about Better Place by Duane Murray, and I hate when I don't have my descriptions
Shawn
up.
Daley.
Thank you, and
I have the
Shawn
book right
Daley.
here.
Yeah, because you have the book.
Yeah.
I read it digitally. The exaggerated swagger and adult comic book geek. It's called Being Awkward. For people at home, if you ever feel like, oh man, I don't feel like I'm good enough or cool enough or attractive enough, fake it for long enough, and it'll work.
Take it till you make it.
Yeah, I was obnoxious. I was like, I'm so beautiful. In middle school, I started doing that, and it worked.
It does. It really does. It's a mindset.
Absolutely. Fake it till you make it is a
Yeah.
real thing, at least with that, not with everything else. There's only so many things you can fake it until you make it. Yeah, we're trying to rep some more city life for Gabby and
Yeah, the
Joe here.
background is very similar. He copied me. I had it first.
I
I had a different background, so he really had it first, but it's okay.
Oh yeah, sorry about that.
I had a different angle.
So this book, you're the one who proposed it today, or for us to read. Oh my gosh, this is really good.
Yeah,
Like to me,
definitely the best.
this is a book that's on the level, and this just came out, so like in October. This book is on the level to me of things like oh gosh, oops, it's gone. Anyways, it'll come back to me. But I think this book is gonna be one of the ones that like makes top tens for a while, or even at
Oh
least
yeah,
top
yeah.
30s.
I
As
said
far
that.
as
I said that at the end of the year, I'm gonna look at all the books I read, and this is gonna be in the top 10 at least.
oh,
Top
100%.
5, something like that.
100%. This is so well done.
Yeah, it's
I
amazing.
was thinking about God Country. It kind of it elicits the same feelings in me that God Country does in a very different way. Which, if you haven't read it, you
No,
should.
I haven't read it, but
I'm sure your
I
dad
love
has.
this.
It's a classic. But Better Place deals with like a lot of just like that aging and dying and what that is like and what that's like for a kid. But this is definitely not. It's not like necessarily written. Even though this is a children's and middle grade book. It didn't feel like that
Didn't feel like that at all.
at all.
It really hit home. I feel like if you're a little older, I think it would resonate with you a little bit more than if you're a kid. I think so, anyway.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Because I think, you relive all of like what you've gone through with like any death in your life of how
Mhm.
this kid is dealing with it. Oh my god. So people at home, many tears fell in the apartment today. You two are so cute.
Yeah,
Like,
I read it, I think yesterday. Yeah, and he read it today, and we both cried.
I love that, and I love that for you too so
Yeah,
much.
I cried so hard. He was looking at me like, "What? What is going on? Like, are you good?" I'm like,
Better
"Yeah."
place. Oh man, so it's a better place to give like a quick sort of description to people at home. Again, we'll be talking about spoilers, but this is for other books I'd be like, yeah, the spoilers can ruin it. This is not the case. That's not where you're reading this book. I don't think anything that we're gonna say or talk about is gonna ruin your experience going through this. So basically it's set around this young kid and his grandfather initially. Cosmo, which I don't know if that's his real name or that was his nickname from his grandpa.
That's his nickname.
Okay. I wasn't sure if his real name was
His name
said
is
or not.
Dylan. The young kid?
Dylan. Oh, thank you. It is written down here. Oh yeah, and they like to pretend to be the superhero duo, Red Rocket and Kid Cosmo. I do think the name Red Rocket was a little unfortunate to be used. However, so his grandpa would be this like he would pretend to be the big superhero, and then like his grandson would pretend to be the sidekick, and they get these little shenanigans. And it starts off with them like pretending they're in a spaceship in this like huge parking lot, but they're using like a shopping cart. And then eventually picked up by the police. And the mom like picks them up and it's like, oh my god, again, because like it's the summertime. The grandpa's taking care of the grandson of Dylan, but the grandpa's getting on in years. He's starting to get forgetful, dementia, those kind of things are starting to settle in, and she's doubting his ability to kind of take care and be with him, and yet like for the grandson, this is like that's his best friend. It's not just his grandpa really. You can tell that they have a very just whimsical, fun relationship. It's like watching two kids together because they both dress up together. Like he's really into it, and they read the comic books together and stuff. But his mom is like, no, you need to move on. I can't take care of both of you. It's just me. He does have his father because I guess his father left. Jaden, I know. Don't worry about it. He talks about a retirement community, and and as it's described to the son or the grandson, the grandpa's like, "Hey, I'm gonna be with you for a little while, but I'm gonna have to leave. It's the best thing for both of you." And he's like, "I'm going to a better place. I'm going here, and that's how he describes it. And he's like, "I'll check it out." And he goes to leave. He drives himself, but there's like a faulty brakes or whatever, and he ultimately dies. This is very early on. And so when this happens, like the mom talks to the kid, talks to Dylan, he's like, hey, he's gone to a better place. And so Dylan in his mind does not associate that with dying. This little kid is like, oh, okay, well, why did he go ahead and go? I thought he was going to tell me. Well, I'm going to go there. And so he sneaks off when his mom's gone to go to this retirement home. He gets this whole adventure. Pulls himself in a wagon, gets on a bus, goes to the retirement home, gets in shenanigans there. He's like, hey, my grandpa's in a better place. And a guy at the retirement home who like initially thinks it's his own grandson is like, well, my Gracie, my wife, is in a better place. And they won't let me see it. Let's just go. Let's break out of here. They break out to go to like, the graveyard, and then on and on and on, eventually culminating in like sort of like a
like a journey.
Yeah, it's a big journey, and obviously it results in like a good conversation between him and his mom at the end, kind of coming back together. But it's beautiful. Now, I'm not sure what's best to touch on first, because this is it's a short book. It's a quick read. There's a lot to talk about in here. So I guess we can do initial thoughts and then just kind of dig into different characters and reactions and growth in there. Because I think that's a better thing to do than talk about sections of the book.
Yeah.
So let's jump into initial thoughts. I've just blabbered on for however many minutes.
No worries.
So,
I think you
Gabby.
summed it up very well. Okay, so first thoughts. I think before I even went into this book, I saw the cover. My dad and I saw it together, and we were like, we just decided that we knew it was going to be a book that really just broke us. Just by the art, by the title. That's kind of the idea and the feel that we got from just looking at the cover of it. And I think when I actually was reading it, that was very true. It broke me. But then it kind of mended me, like it kind of mended my heart and then broke it again. And it's kind of like a journey where my heart was like, I just felt so warm, but also so sad. Made me cry. You know, but I loved it. I think it had a perfect amount of light and dark. It is about a kid. It is about a young kid. So you would think, okay, this is for middle grade students. This is for young kids. So maybe you think it would be a little bit more on the, kind of juvenile kind of side. But I think it had the perfect amount of imagination, kind of like the wild child side of a kid and like his big dreams, but also the balance of reality, normal life.
Yeah, because they don't shy away.
Yeah, they really don't.
From like the way that
really,
adults act and like even the swearing and his mom being,
Yeah, he's always like swear jar every time in the book. Every time someone swears, he says swear jar, and they have to put $1 in the jar, which I think is really cute. So he's a kid. He, in many ways, he has to grow up because he moved to a new place. He doesn't have any friends. He needs to make friends. But what he looks forward to every day is being with his grandpa. And I thought that was really unique about this book was that you see a dynamic between a son and a grandfather, which I think is really interesting because I've never actually seen that dynamic or that dynamic focused on in a story. And I loved that. It's usually like, for me, maybe two friends or maybe the dad and the son, never really a granddad, which I loved in this. And through their journey, through their like activities that they do together, through their reading comics, the granddad also feels like he's a child again. And he feels, like a kid again, which I love. So yeah, I loved this book. I loved it. I think it had a little bit of everything. The art was beautiful. It was perfect.
That's great.
Perfect to me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think like, even though this is middle grade, this is something that you could read with a lot of like family and anything else. Like you're gonna understand it, and if you've gone through any loss in your life, I think it's gonna resonate with you, and if you haven't, just like the familial relationships will resonate with you. But there was something in the way that like the innocence of this, like throughout this whole way, because the genuine just not understanding, because of the way people use the language about it, the better place, but not just saying what happened. Because even as we go on, like no one is saying to this kid, even when they're at the cemetery, and he goes to a lot, right? No one is saying to this kid, "Hey, your grandpa died."
Yeah, that's never really
not a single person. They're just like, even when she's taking him to get a suit, she just says he's gone. He's gone to a better place.
Yeah.
And no one's explaining it. So as he's going to these places, or his retirement home, the graveyard, it's not until eventually she finds him at this like amusement park he was going to go to with his grandpa, passed out on this like ride they were going to go on.
He wasn't allowed to go on. He like snuck by. Yeah.
That she's finally like exasperated and like, no, he's dead. Like that's what happened. He hasn't gone anywhere. He's just dead. And like that exasperate doesn't explain it to him at all. I guess I think one thing I do
instant. He completely changes. Like his life is changed forever when he hears that for the first time. Like he's gone. Like he's not coming back. He can't hear you.
Which is awful. Because right before he dies, grandpa gives him this little piece, like he's like, "Hey, you talk in here, I'm gonna be able to hear you. Like anytime." Trying to reassure him. Like they almost have a talk about him going away without him, any of them like knowing he's gonna die. It's just like having the talk before he goes to retirement home. It's like, you're gonna be able to hear me. I'm always gonna be listening to you. I just can't talk back. It's like kind of reassure him. And when he does, he's still talking to him like, "Hey, where are you? I need to find you." All this stuff. Like, I'm gonna be able to find you. And his mom's like, "No."
Yeah. It doesn't help that the actual place too, like the nursing home, the assisted living facility, is called Better Place. A Better Place too. So he's like, "Oh, he's there. Okay."
Yeah, so he goes in there. It's like, my grandpa's supposed to be here. He's supposed to be in a better place. And this other old man's like, "Oh, that's my grandson." And the woman just like, "Okay."
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. Like, where is he going to go right now? And then you're feeling sad for him as well, because you learn his story. You hear, I think his name was Lloyd. You hear his story about how he was in the place, and then him and his wife were both dropped there by their kids. I think he actually used similar language, like they just dropped us here.
Yeah, he's like, it's
by
not
our kids.
actually a better place. Hopefully, and basically alluded to. Let's talk. Okay, let's get into the nursing home, and then let's
Okay.
talk about. Where do we jump around a little bit, you guys? But it's kind of the way this
we're
is.
all over the place, beginning end. We're talking about
Imagine you're
different parts of
sitting
the
with
book.
us in like a cafe, and we're just kind of talking about this book, like a book club sort of deal, but like an unregulated. But yeah, so he gets to the nursing home, better place, looking for his grandpa, which his grandpa was supposed to go there, but obviously went to the other better place. Meets this older man named Lloyd, who mistakes him for his own grandson. He's got some memory issues, and it sounds like it's happened before.
Right.
Yeah, then he's like, I'll hide you, basically. He's like all in for helping this kid and like getting him out. But yeah, like as you were saying, Gabby, like he talks about how awful it is there.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, actually, I hope that your grandpa is in the other better place, because this place sucks.
Yeah.
And my kids just dropped me here.
They were going to go together, which was actually really cute because they just met. And I love how when he walks in there, he's like, I don't think you're my grandpa. I don't really think, but it's very innocent and cute. It's not like, who are you? It's I don't really think you're my granddad.
Okay, then they show like a really rough scene. This book does not shy away from things. That's why I keep saying it does not feel like a middle grade book because of the things that you see. Because there's a scene in here in the nursing home, basically like they're trying to come after him, and he's trying to act like he does not have this kid, which is comical in a book like this. Would not be comical in real life, probably.
Yeah.
But he hides Dylan under the bed because the Orleys have come by to give him medicine, and he's like, hey, do I really need this medicine right now? Like, I'm fine. And they force him. They push him onto the ground and give him that medicine, which is like a real thing that like people might see in nursing homes, like that. There's like a real epidemic of that, of like people not treating their patients, or it's it is rough and it's real, and they showed that.
Yeah, I think like I think that the author definitely talks about, has this discussion about how nursing homes treat their patients, and like if it's good or bad, or kind of makes you question how they're being treated there. And then the way that Lloyd speaks about it too, the vocabulary he uses, like, oh, our kids just dropped us here, like almost like they abandoned us, they abandoned us. And I remember there was a scene where he was speaking about how his wife is in a better place, which ended up being the cemetery, and then actually found the location of her.
And they wouldn't let him go see her.
Yeah. And then I think he mentioned, oh, like my kids, they were on their phones. They came to see me, but they were on their phones. They didn't even pay attention to me. And I was like, oh my God. Like, can this be any more? Like, we're focusing on Dylan and his grandpa that passed away. Now we're focusing on this man who lost his wife, whose kids don't care about him. It's just like these little stories, like little things intertwined.
Well, and I think like you're supposed to come out of this book with a lot of different things. One of the, of course, is like just, this kid and how they deal with grief and stuff. Also how family deals with it, but also like how people treat older people. Because we're seeing a different side than you would see normally. When his mom is exasperated, probably for good reason.
Right.
She's working a lot. She's trying to take care of both of them. There's a lot of stress, and she's by herself. But she seems like a villain at first, and we understand as adults, but like kids, that's obviously what they're seeing. But we're seeing a grandpa who's fun, who's alive, who can do stuff, And so by the time that she's like, you need to go to a place, like, why? From the reader's perspective.
That's how I felt. But then it took a minute, and I was like, let me put myself in her shoes. Like, let me think about, she's alone. She's raising her kid by herself.
Yeah.
She's working, making ends meet for him. And then she has to also kind of watch her dad, make sure her dad's not getting her son into any trouble, especially after they move to a new place, like a brand new place.
Because it is like having two kids.
Yeah.
Because obviously, you shouldn't have to go to the police. But yeah, this between that and like Lloyd, I I feel like one of the things you're leaving this book with is like a better understanding of like what elderly people are going through and like a better appreciation and like empathy towards them.
Mhm.
Because at the end of the book, with Lloyd, we see like a after things are resolved, which we'll talk about. We do see that he hangs out. He goes back to hang out with Lloyd, and he addresses Lloyd as being one of his new friends. And so like he does go back to the like, nursing home, and I think that's really sweet. And like, ugh, it was a great little like extra thing in here because
Mhm.
there's so much.
Yeah, there is a lot, but I think everything ties in so well. Like, okay, like when you read a scene, it like kind of connects to what you just read, like in maybe a couple pages before. Everything kind of just works. The structure of it
Yeah.
is really nice. I really like it.
So another thing I want to talk about, kind of jumping around, but a big thing is like the mom.
Yeah, me too.
I really felt for her because I think as like an adult reading this, you understand. You know, her husband left. He's not dead. He's just left, right? And so she's already stressed out, like being a single mom, everything else, you know, and dealing with like the burden of having to take care of her dad and her son, and but also like having to wrestle with like sending him into a nursing home. Um, and she's tired and she's not able to like slow herself and take time to understand her son, be there and put herself in in his shoes, and isn't taking the time to explain things, you know, empathetically, sympathetically the way that she should do.
Yeah.
And that's just because it's like that first like quick getting upset thing. And I, you know, for most of my life later on, my mom was a single mom because my dad had passed really early. And so like I see that because you're just tired and you
Yeah.
want somebody to understand where you're coming from. And so the whole book until like the end, she's just angry. But she has a lot of love for someone. She's just very like, okay, whatever. And then even when like the grandpa does not taking time to explain,
Mhm.
and by the time she does find him after her son has escaped, and she's been stressed and like going everywhere to find him. Of course she's tired.
Yeah.
And by then she's just upset and angry. It's like, oh my god, no.
Yeah.
Like he's dead. Get over it. You can't talk to him. What are you doing? Like, and not taking the time to like help this kid actually process the grief until after the funeral and really taking the time to be with him and talk with him and be a part of his world.
Mhm.
And you could tell that it took this point for her to be like, okay, I need to be here. And like, I need to be in his world. I need to be in the superhero world. Like becoming
Mhm.
his sidekick at the end, which was the sweetest.
It really was. It really was. I think when you mentioned her being tired, a lot of the times when she would say things that she didn't mean to Dylan or kind of lash out at him, she would always say like, I'm sorry, I'm just tired. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I'm just tired." And then at first when I was reading, I was like, oh man, like kind of mad at her. I feel I think I definitely was mad at her, right? But then as I was like, don't let the grandpa go to the better place. Don't do it.
I know.
My heart can't take it.
Just make sure he doesn't drive. But I
Yeah.
know that's easier said than done.
Yeah, but I think I definitely, as I read more, I grew an understanding for her and her position because now not only is she a single parent, but now she's also grieving the loss of someone and then has to help her son feel better, has to work, and then it's just she has a lot on her plate. Like, and maybe she doesn't even have someone to tell that to, or
And probably not.
yeah, someone to confide in or vent to.
Which I love because this is so real. Kids
Yeah.
go through this. Families go through this. Like this this is a legitimate thing. Like I'm sure a lot of people at home understand. Like I've lived through several deaths in my family. I'm like this. I have seen my parents go through this. I've seen my mom go
Mhm.
through this. You know, like this is a very like understandable thing, and emotions are high. And you don't always have the time to like figure out. You're trying to like you know keep food on the table, but also like run the funeral, but also trying to explain to your kid, but also keep out of trouble. Like how do you manage all that?
Mhm. And then you wanna entertain his hobbies, but then you
Jane, I
also
like the
want him to
reference.
be, kind of fit
Safe.
in.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah,
Which you know, naturally to worry about. Your kid dresses up all the time. You're a new area. But
right.
I love at the end because at the end, you know, I guess once they kind of reconcile things, he starts talking to his grandpa again, and that thing that he left him, and that's how he talks with him and like goes through it. And I mean, and by talk to his grandpa, I mean kind of like you're talking out loud, hoping that his
Yeah,
spirit
yeah, I
listens,
know what
sort
you
of deal.
mean. I know what you mean.
But he's like, oh, well, I have a new sidekick now. You know, I have a new Kid Cosmic, and she's pretty good. And I was when he described that, I was like, oh, so there's like a kid in the neighborhood. Or, you know, that's what I assumed. But actually, it was his mom, and I thought that was just so cute.
Yeah, it was. I felt also very emotional when they're in the rain and he's on the roof and
Oh my god.
hugs him, and then when she digs out his, because she tells him like you need to grow up, like you just need to grow up, put on your grow like big boy clothes, we have to just grow up and go to the funeral and all these things. And then she fishes out his costume out of the trash, so that then you can kind of see her, kind of, I guess, maybe turning a new leaf, like, listen, okay, I don't really want my kid to stand out in a bad way. I don't want him to, I want him to be grown up. I want him to be mature, but this is something that he loves, and this will also help us grieve.
Yeah.
I loved when she did that and, did his shenanigans and like went to the car, had him push her, and she was like, oh, like at
Well,
the
yeah,
end.
it is something that they shared. So
Yeah.
to immediately be like, no, don't do any of this. You were taking away part of his grieving process and part
Yeah.
of what.
The
And
memories.
there's such a good cover in here because they had some great covers throughout, but there's a fantastic cover. Now I don't know if you would get this reference as a newer reader, but I know that people who have, probably Joe does, but they do a Death of Superman call out.
Oh, I think.
So there's this cover where his like
Hold on.
Kid Cosmo. Thank you.
It.
Yeah, if you can pick it up.
Yeah.
His Kid Cosmo cape is like, uh, it's laid out and it looks like a old like DC cover. It looks just like that cover, as if him, he's putting it away, like Red Rocket has died, right? And they referenced that Death of Superman cover, and I thought that was wonderful.
This.
Yeah, let me highlight you. Yes. Dead on. The Death of Red Rocket.
I love how the whole story is in black and white, but then whenever he's reading a comic, whenever he's reading an issue thing, it becomes colored.
So good.
Or whenever, and I also like, whenever they, like in the beginning, when his granddad and Dylan, they were in the parking lot and they crashed into the car, and then you kind of saw like a parallel to that of like the spaceships crashing, kind of like what that represents.
And I love it because they
symbolizes.
Getting picked up by the cops was the cutest scene. How good would this be as a movie, and just heartbreaking?
Oh yeah.
Because they get picked up by the cops, they're like, hey, what are you doing? You can't just do this up. They're like, no, you don't understand. The spaceship was coming out in front of us. And like, okay, spaceship.
Dead
and
serious.
Then the grandpa's like, no, I'll clarify. And then you just said exactly the same thing. I was like, oh, how cute.
It's so cute. I love it. I love it.
Man, I walked into this totally blind, but as like a kid of a single mom and someone who lost their grandfather young and misses him, damn, my eyes sweat acting up again. No, I understand. Like my sister died young, my dad, my grandpa, so like this is old hat. I'm not gonna cry anymore. I just make jokes, which is inappropriate. But that's how people deal with grief.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was totally, because even though like I was older and had understanding of situation, you know that he's naive and he's not aware of what's happening, but you also can like understand and empathize and be like, that's how you want to feel when something like that happens in your life, with a death or like anything else you might grieve. Just this like totally with naivete, right? Just like doing whatever you can to like go find that person in an adventure. And I think this perfectly encapsulates that. So good. No, so technically I am a co-owner of this channel. I just do not have the time to post as much. So this is technically my channel as well. But I'm busy. I thought about doing my own channel for like a different kind of style-wise stuff, but I'm on 3 different channels, so I don't have the time to do that. There's other comments. I want to get this one, but I'm still recovering from I Kill Giants. Oh man, let me know if that's worth. I know everybody says it's really good to read. I watched the movie and I didn't really care for it, so maybe I'll like the book better. Oh man, what else to talk about in this?
One thing in the beginning that the granddad says to when they have the granddad and his mom are having a conversation about him potentially going to a better place. He says, like, why do you just want him to be like another person who has their headphones on, like glued to their eyes glued to their screen? Which I think is so interesting that he brought that up. It's very relevant to today. He's like doing something a little bit different, actually, engaging with his grandson, playing, using their imagination, and she kind of just wants him to be a normal boy who just. So I like that.
I know where she's coming from because she's just like, I don't want to have to worry about it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, man, how much fun is your kid? How cool is that? If you could find a way to like maybe not have them do in parking lots so they could get hit by cars, you'd be set.
Less dangerous movements, maybe. Compromise.
I Kill Giants, all I can say is it broke me for a bit after I read it. Jess said, it's one I would love to use in my work with youth. You really get some tough topics in a way that is accessible for them. Well, Jessica, add this to the list because you're going to want it. It's very good.
Yeah.
I'd like to give this to some nephews and stuff of mine. Well, I think that mostly covers it. We didn't talk too much about like they do cover like the funeral.
Right.
And he does have a wonderful talk. This is after he's sort of like burnt out, like he's thrown away his stuff. He does have a talk with the priest at that time, who's like, "No, you can talk to him." But like, it's more like out in the way. You never know. He described it in a very like religious way, but not naming anything, right? But he's like, he may not talk back in the way that you expect him to talk back, but like waiting for the right time and like signs and everything else. And it was really wonderful the way that he like was able to understand him and kind of speak his language and bring back those feelings again and kind of bring him back to like a way that he can deal with it. Ugh.
Yeah. I wasn't expecting Dylan's encounter with the priest to be so good. I didn't expect that encounter to be so good because before that, everything's happening, and I think in the dialogue, they only hear like parts of it because they're kind of tuning themselves out. So in the dialogue, it's just like wah 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 wah, like only.
Oh God, it was so sad. I forgot about that.
Out. Yeah, they tune out a lot of parts of the
all that
ceremony. And then when the mom's like, just talk to him. I have to go set everything up. Just talk to him. And he does. And I didn't expect him to say such deep things and things that you can really resonate with.
Yeah, from a Catholic family, I was like, this could go anyway. This could go so many directions. But I love that.
Some kind of, kind of like what the mom said the whole time. He's in a better place. Very vague.
Yeah.
Very just vague answer. And I think he gave a really good answer. Like, okay, they can't respond to you, but I think when you're doing things that you love, you can hear them, you can feel them, you can feel their presence.
Does. How great is that? Actually, no, I won't spoil that part.
He doesn't just say.
There's a cute little bit at the end.
He doesn't just say, "Oh, he's gone. Sorry, kid."
Yeah.
Like the mom.
And he doesn't even like. He doesn't really go into detail about like heaven or how things work. It's just like, no, listen.
Which I liked. I liked it. It was handled really well.
I liked that. So, let's give it a rating and then chill with the chat. I think I'm gonna give it a 10 out of 10.
Oh yeah, 11 out of 10.
I think This is going to be the surprise hit. Now, I know this came out in October of last year, but I'm sure people aren't getting to it right away. I think this is going to be on a lot of people's list. And if it's not, you guys need to pick it up. Honestly, I think it should be.
Me too.
I'm going to have to get Kristen to read this ASAP.
I think Kristen read it already.
Oh, did she? She probably did. She's so
I think
cool.
Kristen read it.
She reads everything.
Yeah.
No, just kidding. Oh, loved it.
Yeah.
Loved
10 out
it.
of 10. I recommend it to everyone. Very quick read, but very powerful, very heartfelt.
Yeah.
It will definitely leave an impact on you, regardless of who you are, I believe.
It's been a while since I've given something a 10 out of 10. I feel like.
Me too. I think I'm pretty picky with that. I'm very picky with just saying.
And you're pickier than me with like those ratings. So that's a big thing, you guys, from Gabby. So you guys should appreciate that.
I loved it.
I got a lot of 10s. The emotional damage everyone needs. I'll pay for therapy afterwards myself. I cry when I read it. Ask myself, was that a fluke? Read it again. Broken. It's so good. Man, I love crying. I did not cry, but I was reading this at work. It was during a break. If you guys are watching, no one's from my work is watching this. It was a break. Thanks for cracking me open like a walnut. Hey, it's good for you. It's healthy. Crying's good. So we have some just regular chat questions. Hey, Maddie, what are your thoughts on the Paper Girls complete series? I loved it.
Okay, we have it, so I need to read it.
It's great. It's just, I mean, it reminds me of so many just like fun like 90s films of just like young girls hanging out on their own bicycles. Just happens to be a sci-fi thing added.
Kind of like Stranger Things, maybe, of getting
Stranger Things. I think a lot of people when they talk about Paper Girls, they're like, it's like Stranger Things, but like it's girls that have a paper route together. It's wonderful.
That's on my TBR.
You'll like it. Did Maddie finally watch Arcane? Okay. All you guys are bullying me. Okay, I haven't gone back and watched all. I have to wait. The time will come. Okay.
I want to watch that.
Have I been watching a million other things instead? Yes, but listen.
Well, like what?
Oh man. I've been watching. Ooh, you've got to watch Station 11. Jessica and I've been watching it. It's so good.
Is it like really sad? Am I gonna be depressed?
I mean, there's some sad stuff, but like, it'll keep you guessing.
Okay. Sounds good to me.
I've been watching The Great, about Catherine the Great, which is hilarious and fantastic. But most importantly, I started playing Guardians of the Galaxy video game this past week. Oh my god, it's so good. The story, the writing, the dialogue, it's so good. I don't know do you guys play games at your house? Are you guys? I know board games, but is there like a system?
I'm trying to be a video gamer. I really am. I tried playing the Spider-Man game on the PS4.
Yeah.
The PS5, and
I see the PS5 now. So.
I beat the first, the first guy. I was like, I did it, and then I get very hard on myself. I feel like I need to beat it really fast, or else I like give up or get really hard on myself. I don't know.
Listen, do what I do, and everybody in the chat might get at me, but you guys can deal, because I can play hard things. I just choose to better use my time. Put it on baby mode for babies, and just enjoy yourself, and just like take your time.
Okay.
You know, but I will say, we've been playing where I play and Elliot watches, so we're like playing it together, but we're not really. But like the experiences together.
Well, you're interacting.
That's a good way to do it.
You're still bonding.
Yeah, it's like watching a very long movie together. But I think if you do it with your dad, it'd be really cool.
Okay.
I would pissed you should watching trash instead of Arcane. I'm watching good stuff. Please, come on. No trash right now, anyways. But I will watch trash. Because I'm okay with that. Oh, and I watched all of Queer Eye, but that's good. If you want to cry, watch Queer Eye, because they change those people's lives. Ugh.
I just finished Daredevil.
Nice. That's
I just finished.
Were you inspired because of recent developments?
Yeah, I was. but I started it a while ago, and then
Yeah.
I wait for my brother to watch it, and then his attention span, he kind of just likes to do a bunch of different other things, and he kind of doesn't like to just sit and watch TV for a long time, which I understand. I'm the same way. So I'm trying to find a good time for him to watch it with me. So it took a long time to finish it, but we did, and it was great.
Oh, that's fun. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Oh, Jessica, I love Netflix stereotypes. Now you gotta watch The Punisher, Gabby. How is The Punisher? Because for one thing, I've never read The Punisher, and I haven't watched the show. I want to though, and part of that is so I can like be rude to people who have Punisher stickers that didn't read it. I want to be that person. Is that an okay reason to read the comic books? Because as a person who lives in Kentucky, I want to be pretentious against those people and be like,
I would definitely do that.
Excuse you, sir. Have you ever even read the comic books and then like school them? Is that an appropriate reason to watch or read a Punisher? Also, what's a good Punisher book to read? I want all those characters in the MCU. Maddie, the circle doesn't count for good stuff. Yes, it does, James. But Book of Boba Fett is very good, and you should be watching it. I am watching it. I love it. Once again, they got me. I was like, I don't know. Like, I'm not a big Boba Fett person, but I'll see. Just like how The Mandalorian got me. See my wonderful Target rug. But, oh my god, it's so good. I love it. Anyone else throw a brick at their lawyer to see if they're good? It's a good reference. Yes, be that person. Well, alright, you guys said it was okay, so I will. Because let me tell you, in the South, it's a lot. Ooh, I do like him a lot, that actor, though. Must read Punisher. Oh, for Punisher Max, Omnis 1 and 2 by Ennis. Alright, I'll add it to the Old Reader New Reader this year.
Oh.
Are you still reading the High Republic stuff? Yes. Slowly. But I am still reading it. I'm trying to catch up before Phase 2 comes out. So, Gabby, what else have you been reading or watching lately?
Okay. So been on a huge reading kick. Right now I'm reading the book Eat and Love Yourself, Sweeney Boo. I'm reading that right now.
It's so good. I did a video forever ago.
Cute. I'm reading that. I know that I said in the beginning that I didn't like Giant Days, but I actually grown on me. So I'm getting through those. I feel like I'm reading a lot of very wholesome, heartfelt kind of things. I'm kind of in
the good. Very cozy.
Yeah. I definitely want to read something Marvel with DC, something superhero-ish. I don't know what though.
Yeah.
Watching. Okay, so I watched Daredevil. What else have I watched?
Maybe you should read some like Jeff Johns' Teen Titans or something.
Oh, okay.
That might be good.
Okay. Yeah. He has like such a big collection behind me. I feel like I should take advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else? A lot of things I would like to watch. A lot of things I hear are really good. It's like a long list of things in my head. What else have I seen? I saw Tick Tick Boom on Netflix, which was good.
Yeah, that's been on my list because all the TikTok sounds.
Good. And then Don't Look Up was also good. Saw those two movies. What else? Spider-Man, of course. Yeah, I think I've been definitely reading more than watching.
That's good. That's exciting.
Yeah, I loved The Girl from the Sea. It was a really good book also.
Yay!
Oh my god. Immediately. I was like, you need to read this, Dad.
Joe, let her read your books. That's a good question. What are y'all's 2022 comic reading goals? Any most anticipated? I put 150 books on Goodreads. I think I did it last year. According to Goodreads, I didn't read that many, but I did technically read that many. So I did not count webcomics or One Piece.
Okay.
So, yeah, and I forgot to upload a couple things. Most anticipated. I do have something. What is coming out? I just pre-ordered it. I think. Um, there's a lot of things, but one thing I forgot about that I'm excited about is Clementine by Tilly Walden, because I forgot that she's
Ooh.
writing a graphic novel about Clementine from the Telltale Walking Dead game, which is my favorite. So excited. What about you?
So on Goodreads, I only put 200 because I started strong, but I may throughout the year I may decide it was a little too much. Maybe a bit more than I can chew.
Yeah.
Most anticipated, I'm still just trying to find new things and find what's good and find a lot of new reads. So I'm trying to find ways to find like new things. And what I do is oftentimes I go on Goodreads or like Comixology and kind of just look at the recommended for you or the books that are kind of underneath what I just read. So most anticipated, I don't think I really have any. I'm always open to new things. But I'm also kind of person that if it doesn't grip me right away, I kind of give up on it. Which I'm trying to be more open-minded about that. But reading, I think it has to just completely. I need to be immersed in it completely,
Absolutely.
or I'll just walk away.
Well, that's why this show helps, because like
it does.
I have to read the thing. Because sometimes if I'm not in the right like space to focus on something, and that's for shows that are good too, and for like books that are good, I'm like, okay, I'll do this later, and then I'll never do. And so like the show helps a lot. It's like, okay, no, we are reading the whole thing.
Yeah,
so even if you didn't really get into the first volume, like even if I didn't really like something, sometimes like I'm still happy I've read it, especially if it's like important to like
classic
comic book lore. Yeah.
Influential book or something. Yeah.
What? Real quick. You've come to the right place. You should definitely read Titans. And I don't mean Teen Titans. I mean, Teen Titans is very good. Somebody was asking about, was Jeff Johns' Titans, Teen Titans worth pre-ordering? It is. But let me tell you about just Titans and the Titans, like by Judd Winnick. Absolutely should read. I think it's so fun because you're dealing with an older group. Because Teen Titans has a different feel to it. Titans is more of like a family of legacy characters that have been together since they were teens. So they have a much different relationship than these new like superheroes coming out together. Plus, Roy Harper and Don Choi are there, and I love them. So please read Judd Winnick's Titans. Read the Titans. There's 2 different series. And I like to Rebirth Titans too, personally, but I also feel like they kind of went all over the place and like let some people go. But you have something more consistent with like the early 2000s Titans. Jaden, you know. Oh, Jaden, that's great. Your wife is reading Batgirl by Gail Simone.
I want to read that too. That's on like my TBR.
It's very good. I like all Batgirl personally. Like I know other people who have who were attached to Batgirl before this run. Were upset because like she used to be Oracle and she was in a wheelchair. She's not in this. So that was a big thing. But she's back in like a wheelchair on and off now. What are some good wholesome books to read? I've read too much dystopian, V for Vendetta type stories. Maybe I need to change the topic. Gabby, I know you've got some to recommend now.
Well, Giant Days is very wholesome. Every single volume is very wholesome. What else did I read that was very wholesome? I also read Superman Smashes the Klan.
Oh, so good.
Also kind of wholesome, but it is it's also kind of sad too.
Yeah.
But Giant Days is very, very, very wholesome. What else? I think this was kind of wholesome. Better Place.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. This one was a little sad too, but I think for just fluffy, just wholesome, no sad, no like darkness, or maybe rarely any darkness, I think Giant Days is good.
Yeah, I would say a lot of first, second books, like one and done graphic novels, like that I think are really good. And for by first, I mean the publisher. I'm trying to think of one in particular. Pumpkinheads is a really good one.
Yeah, I like that one.
Things like Tea Dragon, that series. Wonderful, wonderfully wholesome, very fun. And honestly, a lot of manga series for me are like the epitome of wholesome. They're just a good time.
Can you recommend me one? Because I'm trying to get into manga and
I'll
I'm
need to get
a
a
little
feel on what
overwhelmed.
you like, is the thing.
I don't know what I like as
Because
much.
I have a head full of manga, but it'll depend on what kind of thing you're looking into. If you want more of like shonen adventure long run type, or if you're looking for something more like, I could also name like all the romance manga that's good.
Okay, I think nothing too long, I would say. Maybe something kind of relatively short
Short.
that I can read because then I'll be more inclined to read
Something
more
that's like
manga.
done. Do you have the Shonen Jump app?
No, but it's
Okay.
something I have to do.
So in that case, on Comixology, let me check real quick awkwardly while we're doing this. Make sure it's an unlimited series. Because if it is, then definitely this one. 1 second, people watching from home. I gotta log into my account. Um, you guys don't know this on the show because I don't normally do my weird singing thing, but at home I sing while I talk a lot. Um, uh, okay, it's all well, most of it's unlimited at least. But if you don't read this, at least read the other series by her. But Princess Jellyfish is done.
Okay.
It's all in Comixology. Oh, it's very good.
That's a cute name.
Yeah, it's a classic.
Okay.
And the author also wrote another. So if you look up the author after you look at this, has another series that's on here too, called Tokyo Tarareba Girls. But it's easier for me to just for you to find this, look up the author than it
Okay.
is for me to like spell it for
Yeah.
you.
Right.
Very good. So I would recommend that as like a nice, and it's fun. So I think you'll enjoy it.
I like fun books.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Oh, there's so many comments I missed. Ooh, Green Lantern Legacy. So good. So good. Super Sun. Oh, you know what? Yeah. Super
Okay.
Sun's epitome of wholesome. So good.
I wanted to read that, but after Superman Rebirth.
Yeah, I think that's
That's
good.
smart. Yeah.
Okay. I would also read I'll come back to your comment. Are you reading the tie-ins to Rebirth? Because at the end,
Oh,
okay,
yeah,
this is
I think
gonna
I have
sound
them. I think I have.
okay, because there's like Superman Road. There's like the Road to
Yeah.
Rebirth. There's 3 of them.
Right.
Definitely read the one about Titans, and that's me selfishly asking you that, so you can understand what my people, my crew are going through. Donna and Roy, but they're getting all their memories back because Roy Harper's the
I got
best,
you. I got you,
and
man.
sometimes he's a dad, and he's wonderful. My husband. The first book I finished this year was The Last God Fellspire Chronicles. It's Wheel of Time plus Lord of the Rings. And very good. The hardcover came with the fold-out map. Nice. Speaking of which, I watched all of Wheel of Time. Did you watch that? It's so good. Oh my
I heard
god,
it
it's
was
so
good.
good.
I heard it was good.
Oh, it's so good. I gifted Spider-Man by Todd McFarlane over this my little cousin. He's loving it. Oh, that's such a nice gift. Giant Day's okay, and I'm getting better place for sure. If you want a manga, read Naruto, because that first chapter will either make you love it or hate it.
Two extremes. It's not anywhere in between.
I will
Love
say
it or hate
that's
it.
a commitment. And I'm saying this as somebody who would love for you to read One Piece, but I do want you to start later in it and not read from the beginning. But Naruto's great. But also, man, watching Naruto's great because it's the music is
Just
fun.
so much of it. It's just so much.
I know. That's what's fun.
A lot.
Oh no, y'all! She brought up Roy. That's my husband, my man, my love. He better,
I haven't read anything with him in it, and I know. Don't kill me. Not yet.
That means I can pick something for us to
Not
read
yet.
together this year.
Okay. Whatever.
Well,
Whatever he's the best in, like whatever.
That's
he's
too
the
hard
best.
for me to say.
I know.
But maybe we can read Titans together this year. That's a good summer one. So you can see Donna Troy too. I love her.
Yeah, I definitely read her for sure.
She's great. Keep hearing you should read New X-Men before Astonishing X-Men. New X is out of print and Astonishing comes out this year. Does it really matter if you read out of order? I'm not sure. Yeah, looks like Amazing Asian says it kind of does with X. I don't follow X-Men closely enough to know order either, because I've just kind of jumped into series by themselves, and I just assume I just kind of like suspend my disbelief. You know what I mean? Because like I don't really know the side stuff. I don't know how they've continued this storyline forever, but I also want to do a Wolverine and the X-Men show this year sometime, because he's like principal or something, or headmaster.
I think one thing that gets me stuck when I'm reading comics is, since I'm still fairly new to it, I'm always making sure, like, oh, do I have to read something before this? Like, can I just read this? Like, do I
Yeah.
need to read something else? You know, I have like that anxiety.
Oh,
like,
I totally get it.
pick up whatever you want, you know?
Well, and that's the hardest thing for jumping in.
But I want to understand. I want to get the most out of it. And I want to read
Yeah.
whatever I need to read before that. But I guess it also depends on if you like the character a lot or whatever, you know?
It's tough. It's really tough to like.
I'm really happy that I have you if I ever have any questions about that. Like, I was just like,
And
hey,
if I don't know, I just ask Omar. Usually I'm just like, I don't.
Yeah.
Like, what is happening around
Can I
here?
read this without reading this?
Yeah, a lot of times and like when I was starting out, and I'm still doing that now because there's a ton of stuff I haven't read. I just kind of jump in and pick stuff up and then just hope for the best. Luckily, with DC, you have these like arcs of continuity because it gets like rebooted all the time. But then you have Marvel that has this like weird "it's been happening forever" deal.
Okay.
And so that one I'm just like, so I just gave up on knowing.
You just do whatever you want, yeah.
I figure I'll just read character book. I started out by reading character books by themselves. So just picking a character.
I like that. I like doing that because then you can decide what character you like, and if you want to read more of that particular character, then you can go ahead and do that. I like doing that too.
Because these like groups or event books, I'm always just like, I have no idea. Like that was my biggest gripe with like Avengers by Jonathan Hickman, because things would happen because they were affected by other books in this big group book, and I'd be like, what happened? And there was no like, make sure you read such
here.
and such. And there was none of that. And I was just like, okay, like how am I supposed to know?
That you're trying to put together.
Yeah. Ugh. Jessica, you should not ever say that to me. Heroes in Crisis killed Roy Harper. It was a whole thing.
Oh.
It's very upsetting. He was dead for like 2 years.
It must have been a very traumatic read for you.
It was my villain origin story with Tom King, the writer. It's very upsetting. He's alive now, so it's fine. Kind of. It's complicated. Yeah, I'm always feeling if I read out of order, I'm missing out on an extra bit of experience. Same. Yeah, I've just given up now.
But I think that's overall, FOMO is like an overall thing that the readers feel with any kind of reader. Ooh,
oh yeah.
It dropped something.
All right, so we're hitting about 9, and I took a NyQuil before we started the show. I'm not sick, my allergies are bad, so thank you, Kentucky. So we'll go ahead and wrap it up, but announcements. I'll be back next week doing all new Wolverine, and then for the week after is a Patreon vote. It's a slew of Image comic suggestions, and you guys won't believe this. James, I hope that you tell me that you're proud of me, but I planned all of February already.
Wow.
I did it. Very exciting. And thank you to the chat for hanging out today. It's been a wonderful chat. Thank you to Gabby for joining me again. And also for suggesting the book.
I had so much fun. I hope everyone loves this book and reads it. It's amazing.
And if you guys are watching this later, I hope you like the video. Continue to subscribe. Comment down below what you thought about the book, or comment down below about our discussion. Any recommendations for Gabby as a new comic reader about what to pick up?
I would love some recommendations. I would love
or like next steps. So if people like this book, what to read next. But But yeah, so I hope you all have a good night. See y'all next week. And yeah, see ya.